Hello everybody, this is Jane Hamilton Parker, your psychic medium. Today I'm going to talk about spirituality because I think people get it confused with things. Spirituality is being part of nature in the material world, part of being with nature as one. I've recently been to see a spiritual guru, Sharavana Baba, and I asked him, how can we change the world, Swami, because it's really getting out of order and so greedy. How can the divine work through us? And the first thing Sharavana Baba said to me was, you are the divine, you can change things. You're like a diamond that sparkles and lets out light. And I really thought about this. Yes, we can change the world with good values and being part of each other. Because never has there been a time that I feel the world is losing itself. We're getting stabbings, we're getting greed, we're getting higher food prices, and we're getting people that are so selfish, unbelievable. And then we've got the other side of the coin, which are people that are looking out for others. I recently had a wonderful lady that came to me for a reading, a professional lady. And she noticed the cleaner in this particular building she hadn't seen for 3 days, and he was quite a loner, one would say. And she thought, well, I'll go and pop in to see him. And they made a collection of buying a mobile phone for him because they felt that he could at least speak to somebody. Anyway, she knocked the door, no answer. And she suddenly made inquiries in trying to find a relative because he's quite reclusive. And the poor gentleman had died. But what a wonderful thing that somebody cared for others and then made a collection to buy a phone so he didn't feel isolated. That to me is being spiritual. Also, recently, another reclusive man was taken into hospital, and he had a dog. That's all he had in the world. And none of the neighbours would help out. They saw the ambulance and, like human nature, inquisitive, looking behind the curtains, but left it as that. And then a complete stranger noticed that there was a dog that pulled a blind down, looked in through the window, couldn't see anybody, rang the doorbell, rang the entry phone. And through God's grace, he happened to see somebody that actually went into the building in the store. And he actually managed to get a key to get in there. And this poor gentleman had lived in such a state of, shall we say, hoarding and untidiness, and that because he'd been taken into hospital very seriously with kidney stones. So that kind gentleman actually went and helped to look after the dog and still has the dog, and actually connected with that person in hospital and said, don't worry, I'll look after your dog. And that person really wasn't in a healthy health himself, but he still was caring, thinking of others. That's being spiritual. Being spiritual is not about doing 108 ohms or doing Zen meditation. Being spiritual isn't about going to church. Being spiritual is sending your prayers up to the great divine, to God. Being spiritual is helping others and showing them the way and teaching them. Many years ago, in 1980s, I went to India. I went to visit Sai Baba, and I took many letters there with me for healing for people. And I was very, very blessed to actually be in the presence of Sai Baba. And I can remember sitting in this ashram on the floor cross-legged, and I kept thinking, Swami, hurry up and have your breakfast. This is worse than childbirth. Suddenly this little orange figure suddenly approached me with his hair like Jimi Hendrix, looked at me, sweetly smiled, went like that with the letters that I had for healing. Then I was called into the inner temple, and I saw wonderful paintings on the ceiling of angels, wonderful, beautiful Krishna's chariot behind. And I had travelled with my husband and some friends we met 6 weeks previous. And I travelled with an Indian doctor, Prida. And she said, Jane, Sai Baba is blessing you. And I smelled this most wonderful fragrance of jasmine go all over me. Still being a little doubting Thomas, I said, well, I don't think so. It must be somebody behind. And I happened to look behind. There was nobody behind but Krishna's chariot. And I felt tremendous energy of love. So that was the lesson to me, that I had a personal interview who I was and what my destiny was, to reach out and help others. And my husband had commissioned a painting from a fabulous Indian artist that said it's a privilege to do that and paint Swami. Sai Baba actually came down these steps in the ashram and put his hand and blessed it, and I have it here. And that's ready to go in our spiritual retreat in Italy. And as I say, recently I met another wonderful spiritual being, Sharavana Baba. Now, a guru's role is to show people from the darkness to the light. And my goodness, don't we need it at the moment? Because it's like the world's gone crazy, hasn't it? And it's like living in a vibration of hell. One doesn't know what to expect next. But there are good spiritual people. And I'm a great believer in karma. And I'm a great believer in actions. And I'm a great believer, it's not where you come from, it's where you're going to in life. And there's many incarnations one must have been through to actually learn lessons while we're here. We have what I call doorkeepers, spirit guides. They come into our subconscious mind to just tell me to plug in your ear thing again. And they're here really to show us the way and teaching, because life's very short on the earth plane. And I always believe that God has chosen some people to help others. And perhaps, you know, you have to be very strong with all this in life. To be a teacher, a spiritual master, a sage, an avatar, a guru, you have to go through many roads of suffering to reach out to others. Now, I'm very, very blessed because I am married to a lovely spiritual man, have been for 35 years. And I've got wonderful children and a wonderful stepdaughter. And we all work together. I mean, the youngest daughter was quite gothic, but she's suddenly sending her thoughts out to the universe and doing affirmations. And suddenly it's changed around. This was a girl that never believed in God, but now suddenly through suffering, she suddenly is at a turning point. At the moment, the world, it's an awakening, very much so. And I'm a great believer with all these plagues and all these different infections and things. It's a cleansing of the earth, and it's to bring people closer together. You see so much suffering. Every religion has good points. There's only one religion, and that's the religion of love, and that reaches God, and we're all as one. Love all and serve all. And I think a mantra is very important to do that. I do like the Hindu religion. I do like many religions. There's good people and very, very good people. I had a client that said, Muslim people don't believe in this. And I said, no, listen to me. There are good, very good Muslim people. I have some friends that are, and they're the sweetest, kindest, peaceful people out. It's only people with extremeness, terrorists, do those actions. That's bad actions, but she has good actions, so she's a good person. Now, being spiritual is thinking of others and shutting the outside world in your meditation and reaching out and helping. It's like I've said before, if you see somebody walking along the street and you give a smile, that makes that person feel good. Every human being in God's earth is important. We all have a spiritual blueprint before we come to the earth, a plan. We all have our own free will. You can go the wrong road, the right road. It's entirely up to you, your consciousness and your actions. Now, you know, when we look at the wonderment around the world, the beauty, the plants, the animal kingdom, how blessed are we? But people are so focused on the wrong things now, materialistic things, power, and grabbing out at straws. It's okay, I'm not going to do a long one here because I'm just waiting for a person. So I'm just coming on because I know that I'll be disturbed in a minute, but I will come on again. Now, I feel spiritual. Never has there been a time that we need spiritual values and spirituality. It's spirituality that's going to save the planet. It's spirituality that's going to do good. It's spirituality that people are going to see the bigger picture. Not I'm going to have a brand new car that comes out. Not that I'm going to have a grand house, I deserve it. Not that I'm going to have the most money. You cannot take these possessions in the material world with you. But what you can do is share and help others. Have a good heart. There's many people that have suffered here on the planet that have had broken hearts. And there's many people with good hearts. There's many people with suffering hearts. But there's all good things, and I'm a great believer, all good things come to those that wait. Now, when people say, why have I suffered like this? Why not? It's lessons. It brings compassion in your soul. It brings love. Now, we've got many people now that are proclaiming they're this, they're that, and they're the best thing since sliced bread. But, you know, they're not on necessarily a spiritual pathway. Because they say they're this and that doesn't mean they are. And you've got to find out for yourself. Because I'm a great believer that people go and see a holy man, Dalai Lama, or a spiritual master or a group. They've been called, and through many incarnations they've been called to be in the presence of that person. Be it a policeman that does good service, be it a doctor that's done good service, be it a care worker that's done a good service, be it a healer that's done a good service, a medium done good service, a clairvoyant, or someone rescuing animals, good service. All these things are valuable things and spirituality on the earth. Now, you know, we're going to see things that are not going to be nice in the future, but there is hope. There will not be, as I said before, a third world war. This will all pass. Until people go through realization and have not attachment to spiritual things, the better the planet will be. Of course, we've got to have certain things in the material world. We have to pay our bills, electricity, gas, food. Now, I'm a great believer that every human being on God's planet, there should be enough food, rather than people wasting and people recycling. I'm a great believer in recycling too, and do good. I've got to stop now, so I'm going to say bye for now. Here's my very important person at the door. God bless you and peace always be with you. Amen.